Goths v Turks on Scandinavia. Pretty interesting.
Okay, and who do you think would have the advantage in that kind
Well,
of matchup?
it's hard to say. I think like Goths flooding units is obviously very very powerful, but then Turks very strong in the Imperial Age as well. Good access to like hand cannons, for example, to help deal with the infantry that are flooding. But it really does depend on the army sizes that the players are able to field. Because obviously, if you've got I think like a huge horde of Goth infantry, you've got to really have a lot of hand cannons with something in front of it as well to actually like deal enough damage to the swarm, if you like.
Yeah, I would still think that the Turk might have an advantage on Scandinavia, as it's usually quite a map which is easy to close. So they could go for just a castle, and then with a castle and Janissary, the Goth player could have some very hard time. Anyway,
I actually,
yeah,
I was going to say I actually need to go AFK for a little bit while, but I'll be back soon.
no problem. I will continue by myself for a little while. So the map is Scandinavia. We can see that there are two main water on every side with a little bit of fish. So usually player goes on the side to fish a tiny bit in feudal age. It's quite a non-standard map as we don't see any berries from any player, but a bit more hunting, I think. So we can see that the two boars of racers are around here, and I'm looking for his. Oh, and here is his hand, which is a bit further from his TC, but he might find it, and as it's quite in the back of his TC, he might be fine taking it. If we're looking about the hunt for the wildest moose, also called Shmolagin, it's here in the front, not as easy to pick, and Racer could maybe put a little bit of pressure here to deny kind of few deers. If we are looking at the map, I would say that the widest moose has quite a nice backgold, backwood, two nice backwood. He could, I would say, easily ward that off, then to the TC and there, and go for, I don't know, maybe like a Drush Fast Castle, that kind of play. The only problem for him is if he was like this, he wouldn't have access to stone, and if he wants to go the Huskar route, it's going to be complicated. His second stone is quite forward, secondary guard on the left of the map, not so easy to defend, and I think it's his third goal, which is very forward, so it's not the best, but still that main gold in the back, well, a bit against the edge of the map, but it's not. It doesn't matter that much. Let's see. Players are starting to take the balls, gathering food. We can see 5 on wood for Racer, and we can see that he's putting his dog quite in the back, and that's a very nice position with lots of deep fishes, and that will assure you a very nice food income if he doesn't lose those to any kind of docker of the wildest moose. The wildest moose is also going for the water on the same size, and he has also some kind of nice fishes. 3 big fishes, a bit less than the racer, but that will not matter until quite late in Castle Age, I would say. So both players going for the water, we are not seeing lots of aggression. No walling right now. The map stays open. If we're looking at the scouting, the widest moose just found out about Racer. He knows where his TC is, where his lumber camp is. Does he know anything about his back guard or his hunters? He found the deers. He doesn't know that Racer is hunting those right now, but he might discover it as soon as he move his scout. If we're looking at the Racer, he doesn't know yet where the widest moose is, but there is not much possibilities. It's around here where he's actually here, or around here where it's quite unlikely. So he'll probably find it pretty soon. The Wildest Moose just found the hunters, and it seems like he's going to want to go up and to go for some kind of. Will he try to go for a feudal aggression or for a fast castle? I guess we'll discover it pretty soon. And best of 5 means the first player to win 3 maps is winning the championship. Remember that is a grand final. It's the end of the tournament. The player who wins 3 games will be the winner of this nearly noob of AoC tournament, which whopping price cash of $0, and they are playing for glory and a little bit of training from top players. Idle scoot for a bit for Racer right now, so probably still hasn't found. No, he still hasn't found the Wildest Moose, but he's going to find it pretty soon, I would guess. And my AoC is totally stuck because I locked it. Alright. 4 fishing ship for Racer, the same for the Wildest Moose. We can see a pretty common strategy. They are both going for feudal. We can see Racer putting down a barrack. Really try to go fast castle. He might be a tiny bit short in resources and he doesn't have the wood to put 2 buildings. So I would guess he would probably go for feudal aggression. And on the other side, if we're looking at the Wildest Moose, he's putting a barrack down with 5 villagers. He really wants that barracks to go down quite, as he is already in feudal and he needs to make some military building. As if we look at its resources, they are not so great to go for a fast castle, and he's not even gathering gold. So we'll see. He's going for a feudal aggression with a stable, and actually Racer is doing exactly the same. So we'll see scouts from both players, and the Wildest Moose is trying to be a bit annoying and getting some idle time from both villagers. At the same time, he's taking a bit of hits from those villagers, which is not the nicest thing you want when you're going for a scout rush. He's milling those deers. I'm not exactly sure how many deers were here. I think the biggest patch of deer was here for him. And Racer is also milling his deer, so they will have a nice boosting command. They don't really need to put down so many farms. Well, the Wildest Moose actually put a few of those. And he's scouting the stable. We can see that Racer started to wall his map a little bit on this side. He has some kind of, I would say it's, how do you call that in English? Ice or anything. And thanks Milmano and Smart Butterfly, I'm gonna try to cast it as best as I can. So if we look at the military, the Wildest Moose is already on 4 scouts compared to the 3 of Racer, and Racer is not going forward. And Racer is actually running under this TC, but the Wildest Moose is not noticing it, and he's not putting his villager inside his town center, so it will not matter. And he's losing 1 scout here, fighting against 2. And at the same time, Racer lost a villager, so it's 1 scout versus 1 villager. At this stage of the game, I would say that the villager are a bit more important. But Racer just found his hunter, and that's going to be terrible if Aspire is coming here to save him. I'm not sure I would fight that, but they are not all focusing the same villager. I think 1 villager is going to go down. No, Racer just pull out his scouts at the last second. That's quite surprising, as he could have taken this villager right away. This spear is doing a nice job, taking lots of hits on both scouts. And right now, we can see that the villager difference is 1 more for Wildest Moose, but 1 more military for Racer. Still 4 fishing ship for all of those, and they are not putting any galley to put the pressure, so those fishing ship will be fine for a while. 4 scouts there, Oh, a bit of harassment on those deers, and the racer is taking them away to defend. I'm not sure it was necessary as the spears were there to defend, and quite a lot of idle time, and those villagers could have been garrisoning for a bit more time. So those scouts are not really harassing that much, but it's quite a nice number that racers got. And Shmolagin is being very annoying with those 4 scouts with quite a low HP against those 2 spears, and making them move a bit. And right now he's trying to see if he can pick a small villager on that side. And he just did pick one villager. Will he be able to take another one? I'm not so sure about that. Yes, actually he did take 2. Oh no, he didn't. He did take only 1 villager there. And yeah, those scouts from Racer are trying to deny that blacksmith. I'm not sure it's a good idea. They will take a lot of hits from the TC. Quite nicely garrisoned. And what about the scouts of the wildest moose? Well, he's exploring a little bit the map. He only has 3 military left against the 10 of Racer. Wheelbarrow for Racer, so that's going to give him a nice boost on his economy, and we can see that the villager count is still quite the same. A nice little house there to wall that back of the base, and then I would probably wall here or towards the TC in order to defend. Those 2 spears are nicely positioned. They will deny those scouts to do anything, and the widest moose is going up to Castle Age. He put down 2 archery ranges, and we'll see him going for an archer as Goth, which is not unusual, but not the most common choice either. Those fishing ships finished those 3 big fish, and now they have to travel this long way to find fish, and that's going to be a bit down and a bit less good fish than Racer. Racer just clicked to Castle Age around 30 seconds later, and he's going to lose all of his, or at least most of his scouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, maybe 1 spear. It's quite a nice difference from Shmolagin. And the map is Scandinavia, yeah. No, the map is Scandinavia. They are playing standard map of Age of Empire. We can see the first galley, who is going to harass those fishing ship, and I'm not sure it's going to be enough, as they will both reach Castle Age, and we might see some fire ship. A bit of low HP spears and a few archers going forward for the widest moves.
I am now back, by the way. Been listening to you for a while.
Alright.
Unfortunate for Racer that he wasted all his scouts when he clicked up to the Castle Age, when he would have been getting a free light cam upgrade for those.
Yeah, it's a bit a shame, but he didn't watch them very closely. I would guess that micro wasn't the best.
Racer actually floating crazy amounts of resources. If you check his point of view at this point, 1,300 wood in the bank and 700 food.
Oh yes.
A chunk of gold as well.
Will he try to put 2 TC down, do you think, with those resources?
Perhaps, but he doesn't have the best map for doing that. I mean, if you can fit one on that hill, I can't actually tell due to the elevation. I don't think I need a different snow texture, but if you can fit one somewhere near his gold, that'd be good. But the rest of his map is not great. I mean, that big ice patch near his base is really annoying. In terms of building, he just doesn't have space. Crossbow's now moving in on his wood line as well. Potentially going to pick up a number of kills, but villagers backing off, one actually going down in the end.
Yeah, and his defense for those crossbow will be knights with +2 defense. He's researching the +2 defense now, so it's going to work fine, I would guess, until those crossbow are a little bit more massed. So we'll see how they will take the fight.
Chosen to TC the stone on the front of his base, so probably going to be going for a castle and janissaries at some point. but having just lost his fish pretty well. Actually, no, not lost them, but they're idle. He's going to be trying to run 3 TCs as well as making knights on about 8 farms. They're actually working, which is going to be pretty difficult to say the least.
Yeah, he's probably going to put some more farms. He has the wood right now to put them down. And if we look at the base of the Wildest Moose, he's on 2 TCs right now. So 3 TCs actually, so he's going to boom as well. And he's already 8 villager ahead of Racer, which is quite of a big deal. Yeah, here Racer is defending his 2 remaining fishing ships quite nicely, and probably is going to go with that fire ship to the ships of the Wildest Moose, maybe evening a little bit more the game. Right now we don't see much action. The game seems to have stabilized.
Yeah, stabilized. Yeah.
Yeah.
For Racer, it would actually probably be worth redocking now at some point, around about where those deer are, because it's about 4 deep fish within range of that sort of area. It'd be a really nice redock to do, as long as he adds in a couple of more fire ships to take control of the water.
Yes, that would be a good idea. But if we look at the fishing ship of the Wildest Moose, that's a very terrible fishing ship, and actually Racer fire ship just run past them, as you would never have thought that they would be so close.
Yeah, and Racer's actually invested in 3 fire ships, or he's got 3 left at this point, so definitely worth having done that. I think doing the redock and trying to make the water his and do more fishing. Racer going to be moving out with some knights now, but he's going to have a hard time hurting Wildest Moose. He's got 3 TCs in a pretty compact base, some like interior walling with the house and everything to stop his knights running around, and decent numbers of crossbows as well.
Yes, that's going to be very tough to make him lose some villager, and his TCs are quite well placed, so it's going to be very hard to apply pressure on him. And right now he is 4 villager ahead, but going handcart, so his economy will be better and better, I would guess. We can see that Racer is starting to gather lots of stone, so he will try to transition to those Janissary probably. But I'm not sure if it's a good choice versus those archers from the Wildest Moose.
Yeah, really from one castle he's going to have a lot of trouble getting on a decent mass of Janissaries, and Wildest Moose already with a good number of crossbows that will just shred the Janissaries through to the rate of fire, etc.
And to be fair, the Wildest Moose is also gathering lots of stone, so he's going to probably to go for a castle as well. Would you think it would be wise for him to go the Uskar road?
Well, it's always a strong unit to pick, but obviously if it does go to the area the Imperial Legion doesn't, as I was saying at the start, if he doesn't have a huge mass of Huskars to just swarm with, they are vulnerable to getting picked off by the early hand cannoneer transition of the Turks, or potentially just some Janissaries, because despite the pierce armor of the Huskars, the massive damage of the Janissaries still allows them to kill small numbers of them relatively easily.
I agree with that. Racer is still looking for do some little damage with those knights, but it's not happening right now. And no Halustra, it's not Arabia Invitational, it's the final of the nearly noob of AoC tournament, with a player which have a skill way higher to the Arabia Invitational, I would guess. Actually, I just loved how the Wildest Moose just focused that farm and not the villager that was on the farm, so he killed the farm, but the villager got alive from there.
Yeah, but now he's found much richer pickings on the wood line here.
Yeah.
Number of villagers going to go down. Boots doesn't have ballistics at this point, but I don't think he really needs to have it.
Yeah, he took 2 vills and idled quite a lot of others. I would probably go backwood if I was Racer right now, as those wood on the side are so easily erasable. And he's going to go with his knights, but I don't think that number of knight is enough to fight against those archers if those archers are going to take the
think,
hill advantage.
yeah, the hill advantage plus the trees, etc., are going to make it a lot more difficult for the knights to take that fight. I still think it's going to be very bloody, and a lot of crossbows will die, but they will emerge victorious from it in the end.
Yeah, I think the amount of crossbow dying and the amount of resources that Racer had to put into knights, the crossbow went like won that fight for quite a big margin.
Moose clicking up to Imperial Age then. Racer is about to do likewise if he has the buildings. He's actually just made a monastery and a university right next to each other, which is so conspicuous as being oh, I need some Imperial Age buildings. Let's put the two of them right down next to each other. I think for kind of map control sense, I think a good option for him would be a castle on that hill with his golden stone. Although,
And that's what he's doing right now.
Literally,
Literally, as
issue is that it could be trebbed down from across the forest potentially. I'm not sure of the range, but there's a little indent in the forest that might allow trebs to reach. But a stone wall on the left-hand side of the map would be good as well, I think, for Racer.
yes, that would prevent any kind of harassment from that left side, and they would have to run past his castle then.
Yeah. Although I guess if trebs set up on the opposite side of that forest to hit Racer's castle, then it'll be easy prey to Turk bombard cannons firing back over the forest as well. So I think Racer, in terms of strategic position, yes, 2 siege works shops coming up. That's what I wanted to see from him. If he does wall off the left-hand side and then focuses this area on the middle of the map, then maybe gets a second castle on the next hill to the right and just gets powerful Turk Imperial Age army in that area. I think that will be pretty good for him, but at the moment he's definitely at a slight deficit probably in terms of his progress through the game.
Yeah,
a little bit quicker.
We can see that the Wildest Moose is going for Huskars. He just did Anarchy and he's not doing any other upgrade like Champs. So he's probably going to go Huskar and try to float the Turks player. So if the Turks player is answering quickly enough with some hand cannoneers or Janissary, he might be in a good position, but the question is, will he be able to do that quickly enough? He's going for those, as we can see, as the archer armor upgrade in the blacksmith, but I'm not sure if the transition will be fast enough.
Yeah, that's why I think the stone wall on the left-hand side is really crucial to stop the Goths from just flooding straight away. If Racer can turn this into a pitched battle where the Turks bring all their firepower to bear on those hills, I think he would be pretty decent for him, but he seems just a little bit too late for that.
Where I'm not very optimistic about Racer chances is the amount of army he has right now. He has 6 army versus the 46 of the Wildest Moose, and the Wildest Moose is already coming with a treb, and we can see that Racer spend his resources into elite Janissary without having any Janissary on the field. So if he loses this castle, it's going to be very, very tough for him to defend.
Practically the elite nothing upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, Racer really needs to have multiple castles at this point if he's going to be going down that Janissary route. On the way to Imperial Age as well, wasn't really dropping any archery ranges as such, which I would have liked to see just to get some hand cannoneers and some army massed ASAP. He dropped those 2 siege workshops when he already had 1, so questionable whether he really needed 3 siege workshops.
The good thing about those siege workshops is that he has a bombard cannon, and if he focuses those traps, he will be able to keep his castle alive for some times. But right now, he's not putting those bombard cannon towards the traps, so I'm not exactly sure what his plan is. Get rid of those crossbows? Yeah, and he took 3 or 4 crossbows, but he's still not defending his castle. He will try to repair it, and that would cost him lots of resources.
Yeah, costing him this potentially, depending on how much stone he spends on repairing that castle. At the moment he could build a second castle, but if he has to repair that a lot with tons of hills, then not necessarily.
And if you look at his resources, he's floating in gold and he's floating his food, so he has the resources for those. Oh, and Racer is calling for the GG already? Alright, your mic is muted for a second. Let me check if I muted your mic. No, you did mute your mic, probably. All right. So that was, in my opinion, quite an early call. He still hasn't lost that castle. It wasn't great. Well, but I think it was a very, very early call, especially in the final. If he could have taken down those treads with his bombard cannon, he would still have been able to hold, I would think. We'll see. We'll see. If you're looking at the achievement, military, a bit more unit killed by the widest moves, but not that much. He just had a way bigger army advantage. Economically, he was a tiny bit ahead. He was a bit earlier in Castle Age and everything, and in terms of villager, had a tiny bit more. But it was, I think, still quite close game. I think the call for the GG was a little bit too early, but he didn't have the advantage for sure. But he could probably still have come back from that. That's my feeling. And apparently he disagreed with that in the chat. So let's see the next game. Will start when the wildest moves will come. So in the yeah.
I was going to say, I just feel like if you're Turks in that situation and the Goths is already overrunning you, is only going to snowball because the Goths obviously can produce so much military so quickly, and if they're already winning with what they've got, then you're in trouble because their eco meanwhile is running untouched and just powering that Goth spam.
Yeah,
Whereas,
but that ghost spam, at least I think the Turk, if they can mass enough hand like gunpowder units, there might be the only
Yes.
civilizations that are able to deal with that flood.
the Turks can, I would agree, but I think like Racer had lost his chance to do that. I think that it was probably a little bit too late. He didn't have the production in place already. Like if he was going to go Janissaries, he needed two castles much earlier. He needed to have two castles at least several minutes before the end of that game, in my opinion. Like you were quite rightly pointing out, the researching elite Janissary when he didn't have any Janissaries to upgrade in the first place and just delaying his army production even later. I'd much prefer to see him putting down 3 archery ranges or even more on the way to Imperial Age to actually have that army ready to repel the first wave from the Goths.
But the funny thing is that that first wave didn't come. He was just trying to get down that castle, and he did never try to flood his economy or anything. So that's why I think the call was a little bit early. But for sure, he had a disadvantage. And we're going to see Nomad as the home map of Racer. Oh, I'm going to change the score before I forget it.
Cool. Just so for those who are just watching now, the home maps of the players, you can actually see it in the settings of the game window if you look on the screen. But basically, whoever loses the previous game chooses the map for the next game. Is a slightly different concept to the usual home map system that you see. It's something that the main Noobs of AoC 3 tournament that ran about 3 or 4 months ago used and being employed in this spin-off tournament as well, keeping the settings more or less the same.
Yeah, it's a tournament which is in order to have like noobs play a tournament without having to face a very strong player at the start and have a chance to progress and have a little bit of fun for them. So we see Nomad, and interestingly enough, Racer is Hans, which is not the save you want to have when you start playing Nomad, as they start with less food, and then you can't put a dock very quickly, so you have a tiny bit of a disadvantage compared to other thieves. And Mayans are quite a nice thief to have, as they start with one villager more. So I would say in the Civ, the widest moves has a big advantage, and actually, I think in everything he has a big advantage because there is absolutely no food around Racer TC.
Yeah, absolutely catastrophic start for Racer considering that he chose this as his home map. The element of randomness, he's if he was rolling dice, he'd rolled a bunch of ones here. Just absolutely insanely unlucky considering he's versus one of the best Nomad civs as one which is at a severe disadvantage at the start, as you say, and has managed to locate the kind of bottom quarter of the map where there is literally nothing besides one stone pile and two deer. There's, there's only wood. It's almost like he's playing like forest nothing, nomad nothing. Whereas Shmolagin or the wildest moose has three boars within about 10 tiles of his TC, a whole bunch of sheep, deer, berries off to the north. He's got access to the best fish on the map in the north and the east, where he's put his dock. And this dock is so ridiculously overpowered. He's got two deep fish basically touching the dock, whilst Racer won't be able to build one for a long time. So Racer are praying for a miracle already, I think.
Yeah, the only bad thing I think for the widest moose is that his TC is not close to any wood line, so he would have to put quite quickly. Uh, okay, is Racer calling the GG? Yeah,
I don't think he actually is, but yeah, the TC location for Shmolagin is a bit interesting. Not to have TC next to gold and not wood. Um,
to be honest, Shmolagin is not gathering any any food right now, so he's going to have an idle TC as well, and that would be the saving grace
yeah,
for Racer.
well, I'm really glad to see this because it will allow Racer to try and get going and catch up a bit. Because right now, Moose is going to rely entirely on those fish outside his dock for food, even though he's got boars there. Um,
Yeah, right now they
and
have the sorry. Right now they
yeah,
have the
he's got.
same population, and the fishing ship will be a tiny bit in advance for the widest moves, but not by too much. So the game evened out a tiny bit. I feel like.
He sent all his villagers back to the TC and now is gonna hunt the boar, but that means he went over there, built a lumber camp, got just enough wood to build. He didn't even get enough wood for a fishing ship. Like if he'd stayed there and got 17 more wood, he could have afforded a fishing ship. And now he took every villager back to hunt the boar. I think I think it's kind of panic decision making. Is like, oh crap, I've got no food, so I'm going to send everyone to go and get food. And
Yeah, it's not like the perfect. It's not the perfect build order for a nomad map, and
yeah,
actually it's
so
quite one of the worst I've seen in a while, I would say.
yeah, maybe Shmolagin doesn't play a lot of Nomad. But right now, after all we're saying, guess who's got two fishing ships and who's got zero?
And who got more population? Racer got.
Let's go, Racer. We're saying saying he needs to pray for a miracle, and well, he's got one because I don't know what this build order is from Shmolagin, but it's certainly made this exciting now.
He's
Uh,
got one, but still, his map is so poor. Look at his gold. The closest gold to his base is the one which is not so far from Shmolagin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe if Shmolagin carries on like this, he's a couple of minutes late to the feudal age. Racer just goes like double dock to fuel all in scouts, and well, like Wildest Moose will be totally open.
no, I feel he has to go for that backstone and just try to tower everything.
Yeah, like all in scouts or towers could be a viable option. Still, it will be hard pushed to actually get up to the feudal age ahead just because of the fact that Shmolagin, once he sorts himself out, will be having a lot of boars.
Yeah, do you think it would be a good idea for Racer to put a second dock and try to put even more fishing ship on the way?
Yeah, I think a second dock is going to be quite necessary. Otherwise, it'll just take him for as long as he is still running his TC. It will take him so long to get the food in the bank to go up.
And actually, that's what he's going to do. He's going to put the dock probably in the top corner next to Shmogalin. He has a build there already.
Yeah, he's just
Or
seen it.
maybe he's just scouting with it. He has the resources to put that second dock. And actually, he's Shmogalin just saw him.
Yeah, doing X on the minimap.
Yeah. Shmogalin still have a very, very big advantage. In terms of population, they are very close from each other, but I think in terms of advance in the game and resources available to them, still quite a huge advantage. And the worst thing is that map is so unfair to racers that there was nothing he could do about it. Everything went wrong. The, the civilization he got, because it's random civilization, the positioning of his TC.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Racer's Fog of War, he actually, at this point, obviously didn't have this much scouting earlier, but he does have decent scouting, and he would have walked around a bit before he dropped that TC. And there is no way for him to have gone somewhere. He would have been dropping a TC at like minute 4 to have actually found a good TC spot, by which point you're dead anyway because you haven't built your TC. He's actually going to lane this boar in the northeast.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
I was looking at it as well, and actually he can't because his villager is too far from the board. No, the board just moved forward like 2 tiles, and that's not. So will he try to do it again, spending a little bit more? And the worst thing is that it doesn't even change anything for Shmolagin.
like,
He wasn't counting on any of those boards probably, and he just decided to, oh, let's just go, and they don't. In terms of population, they are dead even right now. The only good thing that Racer had for him was that his dock wasn't a bad dock.
yeah, I mean, if that dock had been had no deep fish near it, able to, I think they were totally over at that point. Unluckily for Racer, Shmolagin did find those sheep near his base, which I think will give him the last sort of bit of food he needs to push him over get him towards the bank of 500 and get up.
Yeah.
He's starting to float food now, whereas Racer is still more or less running on empty. Well, actually beginning to, so getting up to about 200 food mark, but
I think Racer is not. Oh, I thought he wasn't producing any villager because his TC was idle for some time. Yeah, that's a problem. Shmolagin is going to be in feudal way before him, and if he's going to go for those galleys, then it's going to be a disaster for Racer.
So did Racer's scouting villager go home and drop off that 35 food? I think she did, which means he doesn't know that he only just missed Wildest Moose's TC. But, well, I wouldn't say only just, but yeah, didn't come too far away from locating it, or at least seeing it one of his houses. It's kind of unfortunate because knowing that he is in such a terrible position, he could maybe have used that information of where Wildest Moose is just to go and try something, and when he gets to feudal age, just try and go aggressive somehow. I mean, he does at least know he's got some stone to work with in the back to do towers.
Good thing is that he will have the resources pretty soon to go feudal age. So it's going to be like 2 or 3 minutes after Shmolagin, which, if Shmolagin is not doing anything, might still keep him in the game. But that's the future is not looking too bright right now for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's just fishing ships that are going to be most vulnerable, isn't it? At the moment, Shmolagin hasn't actually found Racer's base. Like, he's got a good idea. It's going to be in one of two spots, looking at his scouting, pretty much, unless his TC is in a really weird position. But
Racer is actually going for stone.
yeah, which is potentially what he needs to do because he's already facing a player who's going to be able to do an archer range blacksmith FC when he's not even halfway to feudal. So, you know, if he just plays standard, I think he's going to lose now. So he needs to do something. And if he just goes for a crazy trush, he might drag himself back into it. I don't know.
Do you think he's going to go for a trush? I'm thinking he's going to use that that stone just to get up to Castle Age and sell it for gold because he doesn't have any gold right now.
Yeah, actually, that's a fully valid point. I wasn't thinking about that.
And he doesn't even have a barrack, so
he's doing a mill to get the so he can build a market as well.
Well, that's a nice thinking. When I don't have a mill in Dark Age, I always forgot it, and then I have to put it before my market, since I delay my Castle Age so much. So nice thinking from him. Yeah, and you will probably have the resources to click up to Castle Age.
Oh. With 20 fishing ships, he'll be doing pretty okay in terms of food. Some of them taking shore-fish, but it shouldn't take him too long.
No, he has the food already, almost.
Oh yeah, I'm on Wildest Moose's point of view, sorry.
He's going to sell that stone to. I think he should wall his base. Like he knows that Wildest Moose is so far ahead from him, and if he doesn't wall his base, then it's just going to be open, and that little bit of archer is going to find those stone miner, as they are putting a defensive tower.
I think what we're going to see though is Shmolagin will just make a few archers and then crossbows to take a bit of map control, and then just castle drop right on top of Racer's TC almost, if potentially. Or he could do it more defensively, say on the hill to the next to the barracks and the gold. But he's taking so much stone in the left hand corner, he will have a castle any moment.
To be fair, it doesn't even need to have a castle. Like just standard archers, there is nothing right now that Racer has. He doesn't even have a barrack to defend. He could put tower and try to boom, but that's not. And the funny thing that in terms of population, Racer is in front. That tower is never going to go up on his wood line. Oh, I feel so bad for Racer. It's so unfortunate for him. He's starting to lose a villager. Bodkin arrow already done for those.
Oh man, he's just got tunnel vision with that tower. Just wants it so bad, but he prepared to lose everything.
Yeah, he's 15 vills now. The big thing would be the widest moves to just put 2 fire ships out and take out those galleys, those fishing ships. So what do you think he's going to do? Siege monk? I don't know how he could come back. Like, I don't think he could come back.
I love sneaky barracks in the top left corner from Racer. Maybe he's just gonna, I don't know, just put a stable up there and try and do some raiding with it, possibly.
Yeah, but it's not even like it could do a lot.
No, he won't be able to. But
why does Moose already have a?
What can he throw? There we go. There's the castle drop on the TC. It's coming.
Woohoo! And he just needs this one archer to protect it. But there is a second TC, so everything is not lost. Racer still holding on. And to be fair, in terms of score, they are dead even. And Racer took away the fishing ship from.
Yeah, 2 galleys. I'm absolutely shocked that Shmolagin just didn't do something to.
I feel
fire ship or galley with the fact that he was faster to both ages.
I feel just go like 2 or 3 stables and flood light calf, because food is the only thing that you have. Do the upgrade for light calves and then flood them into the base.
Look at this tower he's doing next to his TC in order to hit the crossbows that are standing at the base of the other tower.
Yeah,
so
it's quite a
stone back.
Quite an hilarious game. And what are their rating? I would guess they are like 500, 600, probably more 500 than 1500. Probably more 1500 than 1600.
I think Shmolagin around 1500 and Racer slightly less, I believe. But these Racer got totally screwed over by the map here.
Yeah.
And the civs in combination with each other.
Actually, he's not even using his castle to attack the TC. Prefer to attack the melee instead. Not sure if it's a wise decision. No, they are 50. Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say the castle's targeting probably got reset at some point, because I can't remember whether it's when you garrison a unit and then ungarrison it, like the castle's targeting changes.
Yeah, the castle is always hitting the closest thing available to him if it's a building. So unless you set it manually to go against...
Yeah, but then it will reset itself. Like if you right-click on the TC and then garrison a unit, I think it's when you garrison a unit, it may be something else, but there's definitely something, like when you do it, it makes the castle, even if you told it to right-click attack something else, it will attack the nearest thing again. like it forgets the command.
Yeah, that might be it. I don't see anything Racer is doing right now. Well, he took the water. He took the water, so he's got that for him. And that's the only thing I can feel he's got. And he's going Cavarchers. Cavarcher without any golden comb. He doesn't have any golden comb and he's going Cavarchers. And
Okay,
a
you have a
second
castle on the
castle.
tower race.
He's
Go,
trying
go,
to
two
deny him.
Archers. You can do it.
Yeah, I believe in you, in those two Cavarchers versus that many archers and plum archers. And actually, and we see,
The villagers have been pulled off the castle for now.
yeah, that that tower is defending quite nicely. Let's see if he will be able to defend against this ram, and I'm not sure he will. We'll see. He might, losing a little bit of villagers. Maybe he's going to go under 20 villagers anymore again.
I think Racer has just decided that he belongs to a nation of seafaring peoples, and as long as he's got the more population on the sea, he's still doing good in his eyes.
To be fair, he's got. If he does have galleys in the sea, and he doesn't give up, he didn't lose. That's going to be totally.
All he's got to do is hide one fishing ship in the corner and then keep his galleys patrolling the shore to stop Shmolagin from redocking, and he can claim this as a technical draw.
Well, yeah, totally bad sportsmanship, but technical goal. And no, he's calling the GG.
There we go. Yeah, I think he's just having a little bit of fun seeing what he can do.
Yeah, he was totally unlucky on that map. And even with the start of Shmolagin, that was far from being the best build order, he still was.
Yeah, Shmolagin like almost let Racer back into it in terms of keeping up with the population for a while, but ultimately the unfairness of the maps and stuff was.
Yeah, the map and the save. Well, if it was just one of those, he might be able to still be in the game, but both the save and the map being against him.
Yeah, like if he had a TC in that spot, Racer that is, but being like Chinese, then game on probably, considering what Wildest Moose actually made of his start and his like puzzling early build order. But yeah, the two things in combination just way too much.
Yeah, nothing he could do. That's very unfortunate, and that's 2-0 for the Wildest Moves or Shmolagin. And thank you, Salva, for finding my accent sympathetic. Most people find it horrible. Actually, that's not true. Some find it sexy. Do you find it sexy, SMB?
Oh, of course, that's why I'm here. Of course.
Ah, yeah. Well, your British accent is not that bad either. Okay, let me try to put the score up. It's 2-0.
I don't like all the maps I can choose, says Racer.
That's bad, but he's going to have to find
So you
it.
can choose Arena, Fortress, Oasis, Ghost Lake, Scandinavia, or Yucatan. I wonder if he would like to have a more like Arabia style map, perhaps, looking at that selection and the fact that he doesn't like any of them.
Yeah, probably. He's an Arabia
Or
player.
perhaps a water map, I don't know.
We'll see. I think the Wildest Moose is not that bad on a water map, but the thing is there any water map?
Well, the other sets of maps has got like Mediterranean, Archipelago, Highland, which can turn into a bit of a grush map for the middle sometimes.
Yeah, but That's game 3 right now. So
Yeah,
Arena
yeah,
Fortress.
that's what I mean. There are water maps available in the other sets of maps in the other games, but not for this game. That's what I mean. Like just like what type of map does he prefer if he doesn't like these ones? Because these ones look like pretty closed, boomy oriented games, or just like walled maps. The ones that you can choose from at the moment, like the arena and fortress style, and Ghost Lake can sometimes be uh, similar to that in terms of like map control oriented and being quite closed off. Same with like Yucatan can be quite wall map sometimes. Scandinavia very cluttered, closed map, and then Oasis normally you just do a big wall along the side of the map and as well. So it seems like he either wants a more open land map or he wants a water map. Would be my interpretation of him saying he doesn't like the maps that you can choose from.
Well, to be fair, there is not much you can do right now. There is not much of an open map. Probably Ghost Lake is the most open of all of those, or Yucatan sometimes. But Yucatan is quite a unnatural map to play for players. They are not used to deal with so many resources. And thank you, the chat, to say that you all love my accent. They still haven't started the game. We're waiting for Racer to come back.
Okay, it's gotta be Yucatan.
Yucatan. Alright.
So let's hope he rolls a good sieve this time.
Okay, while waiting for the game to start, I just did a straw poll, which is very interesting to see what people think in the chat.
Oh dear. I don't think I can compete on this one. I don't think I can compete at all. In fact, I'm gonna vote for you.
Oh, I just got one vote from you. Well, I think I will give it back to you and vote for you. With the only 2 people to vote in that straw poll. That's quite of a fail. Oh no. Woo.
It's nearly as good as the poll you made trying to get me to change my farms.
Lots of people. It's quite even, I think.
Yeah, like lots of people were voting for the different variations of yes, 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 and yes.
Well, in this one, it's a tiny bit more fair, and the game will start. So let's focus on that. Oh,
Ooh,
thank you,
the,
Bazu, for voting for me. Yeah, go for it.
yeah, I was just having to say the voting was actually taking off, and divided opinion. Interesting. Anyway, this is looking like a pretty cool map, and Chinese versus Saracens. But yeah, the map is quite nice. It's one of those ones where it's almost like a halfway line where the players are going to have to fight over the middle. We could even see some sneaky water control trying to restrict players from moving around. But definitely one that's not going to screw over either player, not which you don't tend to get on Yucatan, to be fair. What do you think of the Sibs?
It's interesting. It's very interesting. That's not a matchup I used to see that often. I would say the Chinese might have a tiny bit of an advantage if they can get the food quite early on, and it seems like it's what's happening right now. But as long as we're going to go in the game, and if we reach that late Imperial fight, and the Saracen can go for that mighty Mamelukes, he might have a small advantage. But it will depend on how the games will go. I would say it's not going to be a Civ win anyway. The Civ are
No,
not.
definitely.
No one has the
Obviously,
biggest. Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, obviously, as you were saying, the Saracens in the late game just are pretty disgusting with the just sheer variety of stuff that they can do and how powerful some of the units are. But in the meantime, like Chinese, one of the difficulties with them is that yeah, the start is luck based. So if you get a good start, they have a really good civ. But on Yucatan, it's almost impossible to have a bad start because there's just so much food there. Like as long as you see those main four turkeys and get going, then you've got like so many resources. I think Chinese is pretty nice in that situation. And yeah, I'd give, unfortunately, for the first part of the game or until we get to the late game, that does probably give Shmolagin or the Wildest Moose a little bit of an advantage again, which isn't what we wanted to see, but it's not clearly decided by any means at all. It's just a tiny one. And the map kind of lends itself to Racer shooting for the late game because there's some easy warning that can be done across the middle if he fortifies in the right place. Players having a scout fight here and saying good luck to each other. I don't think either of them is actually sure they're going to win it, but they're just going to say
No,
it. And,
they seem pretty close to each other, and that's going to be. Oh,
all the luck for Shmolagin in this tournament.
he's got everything. By the way, I just checked the straw poll, and we're still dead even. So.
I think that's the way to leave it. Don't get recruiting any of your fans, your hordes of fans to come and vote on this poll.
Well, I'm not like it's still going to be quite tough for Racer to wall. If he wants to wall, he has to go quite forward, I would say. If not, he won't have that many gold available to him. Like if he just wall between the two forests in front of his base.
No, I'm looking at as long as he takes a bit of map control, so it's safe to send villagers out there. Then using the water to wall will work really well for him. He can do like one tile of wall on the far left. Then there's the middle will be about 4 or 5 tiles, and then off to the right, where there's like the second middle pond across in the middle part, and then the farthest right pond in that sort of area as well. He'll be able to wall up most of his map. He's actually got really lucky with the forests on both sides. He's got this massive amount of forest kind of closing him off. He's got so much space in the back to boom until
Yeah.
to close himself off.
The only thing about the walling is that it would be better. It would be way better if he had a little bit of scouting information that he can't get right now.
Indeed. Oh my god! Hang on, is that his main boars? You see where his villager is now?
Yeah, I see it.
I assumed those were like extra boars rather than his main ones.
Well, if it's not, his main ones are the one on the top, and they are equally far, I would say. But at least he wouldn't have to go through that tiny wall that will make likely the boars going back. Oh, I hate those tiny. It seems to be fine. Yeah, he will get that first boar back quite nicely. The only thing that he can't see, he can't see those boars on the back. He didn't scout them. The only good thing that in Yucatan, even if you didn't scout that much, you have so many food that you will not be short before quite a long time.
He's gone for the getting 2 berry patties with 1 mil approach, which is pretty good. I'd love to see it one more tile up and to the left, but it's pretty nice. Whereas if you look at Shmolagin's mill, that is an interesting mill.
It's a new meta. It's a new meta. You put the mill at the ends, and you can wall to the forest quite easily and protect those villagers taking berries.
Yeah, he's probably thinking like he's on a different level. He's actually on a different level. It's all about the walling.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at
efficiency of taking the actual food,
he's going for a drush, and a drush on Yucatan is not that often. The good thing is that Racer would have absolutely no idea that there is a drush, as he can't scout anything, and he won't be very prepared to deal with it. But a drush and Yucatan, usually players are very far from each other, and they have to go around those little river of water in the middle. So it takes quite a long time to get there, and Racer actually could click any second, but maybe wants to go for a straight fast castle. it seems.
Racer's house placement is just really interesting as well. It's none of it is designed to gain a line of sight or to start off any walling or anything. It's just all in one spot, pretty much clogging up his economy. But like he'll almost be able to quick wall villages behind all those houses if he wants to. It's pretty.
I heard the scout of the widest
Shmolagin
moose.
died, yeah, to the TC of Racer. Those three militia coming in on
The
losing
berry.
now.
Yeah, they are going to be annoying because he can't really fight. How many villagers are
He
going?
can't really fight, you say. He's going for it.
He is going to lose one vill. Is he? No, no, he's going to save it. What? 1 HP. She died. Oh. Well, I said he can't really fight it, obviously.
Yeah,
He
off my
disagree
hand,
with me.
just saying.
He totally disagree with me. Stop wanting to get me wrong, Racer. Well, at least that rush is not he's not going to be so annoying anymore, just one malicious. He might still annoy him a little bit, but not that much. And they are both going for feudal and the widest moves at least 3 vills ahead. That's quite a lot, considering he's only 20 seconds after him to feudal. It's like 2 vills ahead.
Well, yeah, well, it's the power of having a good start with Chinese as well.
Yeah, probably. Racer securing his gold with that little tiny bit of palisade, while securing the back of his left side of his gold. So not much. What is the widest moose going for? Sorry, Racer going for, and he's going to go stable blacksmith. So going to go for that.
I expect he'll want to do one scout at least, even if he doesn't make any more after that, just to get some information about the map, because at the moment he knows nothing.
He might do that, the question, but if he does that, he needs to do it after he clicked up to castle. Berries are not the best source of food, but he can click now, and he just did, so he's on the way to Castle Age. Tiny bit before the widest move, and the widest move is having probably enough resources to click up to Castle Age as well. Might be a few seconds after, but with 3 vills more. Yeah, it's not a game ending, but 3 vills is quite an advantage. I'm a bit wondering what is this building placement by Racer. Like just next to his gold, so villagers are going to bump into those blacksmiths, and it's not protecting anything. I wonder if there is not a little bit of place to go on the left side of the barrack, like to go all around the barrack.
Yeah, I mean he can see enough of this map right now to be thinking, oh, I'll put the barracks somewhere, or the blacksmith by the deer, and then 1 or 2 tiles of palisade to the shore, put another one in the gap off to the right, and just start closing some stuff off. But instead it's like, it almost looks like AI building placement.
Yeah, I think that the widest moose is starting to wall a little bit. It's kind of a strange wall, but it's a wall on the left side of his map. Oh, he just started to have a hiccup, so I think it would be better if you start talking a little bit more, unless it's going to go away quite quickly.
Yeah, 2 stables actually for Smith, so he's going to go and Flood Knights. Barrison's obviously an okay civ to have in that case, because there's the ability to make the camels, and he's going to get a second TC on the goal for Racer as well.
Yeah, if I'm thinking if Racer is going to go for a camel defense, on pure camel defense and 3 TC, he might be well in that game, because those pure camel will be probably able to defend versus 2 stable knights for quite some time, with the help of the TCs, of course. And well, anyway, we're going to see how it's going to go, but right now he's going for knights. But he did bloodlines, and that's something Shmolagin did as well, so we're going to see. And if you look at the score difference, it's quite huge, 400 score difference.
Yeah, that is 200 points from exploration at this point, though.
Yeah, and both TC, the resources went down, and he didn't finish the construction of those. So when those are going to finish, the scores
Uh,
will jump a little bit.
and those knights could pick up a vill at least before the TC
Yes,
finishes.
they will. They did.
Two
Actually,
knights out for Racer, so he was thinking about going aggressive. Obviously, he didn't have the scouting information to see
well,
if Shmolagin was going to be doing the knights.
I'm not sure we're thinking about. Yeah, he was maybe thinking about putting a little bit of pressure, but just in case of Shmolagin going for a pure boom. If not, probably he's going to go for some defense. That wood line is still quite harassable, but anyway, in terms of upgrades, they are dead even.
But Racer actually now onto 3 times centres a bit earlier than Wildest Moose because he went for the 2 stable aggression straight away. Although he hasn't really been streaming knights quite as consistently as that would have otherwise allowed. So maybe Racer can catch up on the villager difference now.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to make a huge difference as the third TC for the widest moose is going up, and he's going to pick up a second villagers with one of his knights on the farm of Racer. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Yeah, probably get another one back on the woodline now. A little bit sloppy reaction from Racer when that knight ran past like 3 different or ran near to 3 different TCs that could have all fired at the knight, and there was no like chain reaction of garrisoning.
Yeah, and another villager going down. So right now it's a 6 villager lead. That's quite huge at that point of the game. But it's nothing game deciding right now. Nothing game deciding.
I find Wildest Moose's strategy with adding in a couple of camels now pretty puzzling because it's a pretty defensive move in a game where he's not on the defensive at all.
I have a question. Do you think those 3 builds on the stone for Shmolagin means that he wants to put a 4th stone center quite quickly, or do you think he's just putting them on stone to get a castle up not so late?
I don't know. He may play for the 4th town centre, but it's hard. I think, yeah, he's got the gather point continuing to add on to stone, so maybe he does want the castle. Maybe he's looking at the gold position of Racer and thinking that that is a nice place to drop a castle on top of.
Yeah, for that he would need to have like the advantage and the map control. To be fair,
But
he has the army to have it.
yeah, and he's also getting multiple monks as well. He's creating 2 more and already has 2, so he'll be easily be able to support that castle drop if he goes for it. I think that's on his mind.
Actually, none of the player went for a full wall or for even a wall of one side of their base. That's
Yeah, I
quite
mean,
surprising,
we
especially
look at the map at the start of the game and we see the way it's laid out and we think, oh, look, they should wall here, 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 and here. But actually, it would require an incredible scouting effort to see just how the map is laid out with like that halfway line that can be walled at a few key choke points. You'd have to scout a lot to see that.
yeah. And to be fair, Racer lost his coat very early in the game, so he wasn't able to do that. Actually, there is no more villagers on stone for the widest moose, so seems a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, going for 4TC boom though would be kind of weird as well, just because it would be trying to do too many things at once. Because he's like doing 2 stable knights and camels, monks, and trying to do a 4th TC at the same time.
And you want to see to hear something? Look at the villager difference right now. Only it was 2 when I said it. It's 4 now. The
Yeah, I think he's
question
been maintaining fairly steady.
the question is how will Racer be able to defend? Siege Workshop, forward Siege Workshop, those monks are going to give a huge boost to the army of the widest moose. Do you think he should go like for 1 or 2 scouts and just try to pick up those monks?
Well, do you mean who going for the scouts? Are you talking about?
I'm talking about Racer, but actually I haven't seen that many monks for Racer, so this many monks might be able to hold it.
Yeah, it could be pretty interesting.
I
Low war.
I would go for Redemption as well, probably. and he's got the goal to go for redemption, then he wouldn't have to worry about any mangonel or anything.
Yeah, if you see the Siege Workshop, I think that would be a good choice. Especially as he's floating lots of resources. Actually, Racer's economy looking pretty nice at the moment because he's not spending too much besides keeping the TC running.
Yeah.
Going for second monastery as well, so probably anticipating the attack.
Fourth town center for Shmolagin on his wood line.
I'm cycling through his TCs though, and every single one is idle.
I'm not so much a big of a fan of the farm placement of Racer. Like, he knows there is army around and he's still putting farms there. But to be fair, he doesn't have much space somewhere else. Maybe next to his first TC.
I'd like to see him just take a few of those villages off those farms off the gold or whatever and just hunt the deer, considering they're 5 tiles from the TC as well.
2 more stables, forward stables for Shmolagin. And both are going for the monk conversion upgrade. How is it called? I've got my game in French, so expiation. Okay, SMB is not here anymore, so I'm going to be alone for a tiny bit. So I feel like Wild Smooth has quite a lot of army, 21 to 1, but he's not making it pay. And Racer is going for the redemption right now, so he's going to be pretty great. And he's gathering quite a lot of stone. Where is he gathering stone? Somewhere he's gathering stone because he has 300 in his... not there. Where is he gathering stone? Oh, there, next to his TC. So if he can defend that tiny bit and just put a TC in front, he's going to be fine. And let's see, those monks are going... Oh, they're going to take a huge shot. Yeah, and they need to go back, because if they take 2 shots, they will die. And that's going to go... Actually, Shmolagin is the one going for the light calves, so he's afraid of those monks, and the only thing is that those monks are in a defensive position and they could easily go inside of 1 TC. And if we look at the villager production right now, it's 4 villager ahead for Racer. So, and are those... what's going to happen? Okay, those light calves are going for the monks. What are the monks going to do? Going to retreat? Just a little bit of palisade here would be great. 1 monk down, wasn't watching it. Imp for Racer. He might be able to hold. Still wonder why he's not holding. So he's going for barracks, he's going probably the pikeman road. And that's not a bad idea, as the pikemen are a very cheap unit and they can pretty much deal with anything that Shmolagin has. Let's see how Shmolagin is far from the Imperial. Actually, just clicked. Oh, thank you, Gmisha. Atonement. Atonement was upgrade for the monk. And he's going back, and if Racer is not watching, he's going to lose all those monks. And he looks like he might lose lots and lots of monks. Ah, that's going to be bad. It's going to be a hard time defending. He needs to put his castle right now. I would delay it a few farm and put the castle between my town centers in order to defend. That's quite a huge attack from Shmolagin. And now his 10 knights are coming in the middle. He needs to put the castle down, but how is he going to do it? Those knights are +2. Oh, and Racer is just giving up. Racer is giving up. And to be fair, in that case, he would have a very hard time to come back. But he had so many resources, and just a tiny wall here could have prevented that. Oh, that's really hard.
Yeah, it's always like it's a little bit frustrating. You see someone resign with 2,000 food, 1,000 gold, and enough stone to build a castle in the bank.
And that's, I think it's unfortunate for Racer, because like he's not a bad player compared to the wildest moves, and him just losing the first small final 3-0, then losing the second 3-0 as well. I'm not sure it shows his skills, and but anyway, congratulations to the wildest moves. he played well enough to win that tournament, and obviously he beat me, so he played well. And after he came back all the way from the loser brackets to win that tournament, and that's quite impressive. How many times we see a player come back from the loser bracket and win the tournament?
Well, he now say he's got something in common with Viper at least.
Well, not exactly. Viper just lost in the final of.
I mean, Masters of Arena.
Yeah, he lost in the final of Master of Arena, and then he came back from the loser tournament. So White Moose lost his first game in the winning tournament, and then he had to climb back from the whole losing tournament. So not just one game, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game in the losing tournament. And
Yeah.
yeah,
No, go on. You go.
no, I was
'Cause-
just going to talk to the chat. There is Aoki Kasta who is talking about my beautiful accent. And I would like you to know that my accent was voted as well as SMB1, even in the sexiest accent. So,
Yeah, I was just going to mention briefly about the tournament, just because it's been good to have another chance for low rated players to get involved in the tournament. Originally, like Noobs of AoC, there were two set total spin-offs for it. Newly Noobs of AoC and then New Basher of AoC. It's allowed a lot of different players to get involved in tournaments, playing against players on their level instead of entering tournaments where they get drawn against a 2K and die horribly in 10 minutes in the first round. And it's been a pretty good initiative, and obviously there are various people who have been involved in like setting up those tournaments and keeping them going. So there's various people, so I'm not going to name all of them, and I don't want to forget some of them. But don't.
I can help you with that if you want. I think it was Peganator and Gracie who initiated that tournament at first. Then in the middle of the tournament, there was a little bump in the road, and people lost a tiny bit of interest in it. And it was reactivated by mainly May Winkos, who was making sure that everyone in that tournament was playing their game, and then the tournament finished quite nicely tonight by the victory of Whitest Moose.
Okay. Thank you very much for stepping up and casting this one, by the way, Zygene, and making your main streamer debut on Vubly Official. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah,
I guess I'd just say to everyone who's watched these games, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed watching them. Don't know if there are plans afoot for Noobs of AOC4 or anything like that with Pumakel in the sort of medium-term future. Doubt he's running it for a while yet because the other one only ended a few months ago, but maybe look out for that in the future if you're this sort of, like, if you either like watching players of this level play or you want to participate yourself. But other than that, thanks very much for tuning in, guys.
yeah, and no, I have the hand of Vubly official, and I can do whatever I want. So I'm probably just gonna stop the stream. That's very brave from me. All right, thanks for listening to me, and I see you probably another time there is a noob tournament. All right,
Yep.
bye guys.